And let's buy this rocket launcher. We have all of these. All right. So now let's stop. And then let's join back. We have all of our items in our inventory. So welcome back guys to a new Roblox Studio tutorial. Today we're going to be doing a profile service tutorial. Now what is profile service? It's basically a custom data store module made by Lawless. Now Lawless, he was a very famous dev, at least back in the day. He made games like Mad Murderer, Mad Games, Mad Paintball. So he's a pretty famous developer, and he made this system. It's basically a data store module, right? That's really all it is. But it's definitely more reliable, and it's been pretty famous. It's been pretty popular for the past few years, so that's why I decided to make a video on it, right? So I did make data store tutorials in the past. It was using the very default data store service from Roblox. It's not as reliable and it's not as easy to use as profile service, so that's why I'm gonna make a tutorial on how to actually use this. So for profile service, you go on the wiki, right? So this is a wiki where you can actually find the module. So there's actually a link somewhere, I think it's right here, where you can actually look at the actual model. No, it's not here. I think there's a wiki for this, and there's like tutorials for this. This is the documentation. I'll be linking these in the description, and in here you can find a template for what you can use. For the actual module, you can easily get it from the toolbox. You can search up profile service. I think it's linked also in the wiki. I'm not sure I can find it. Let's see, profile service. There you go. This is the one made by Lawless. This is the official one. You want to insert this into your game, and let's put this inside server script service, right? Now, since we have this template, this will make everything work. So this will be inside a script. All right. So let's actually make a folder. Oops, not a module script, folder. Let's call this profile. Let's put this inside here, and then let's make another script. Let's call this data. And now let's paste all of this. So basically what this does is a template that uses the module in order to make you a data saving system in your game. So before we do anything, make sure your game is published. So this game is not published, I just made it. So click save to Roblox, let's make a game. So tutorial, let's call this profile service, PS tutorial. Like that, and also make sure your API services are enabled in game settings. So in order for that to work, let's just load. So go on game settings once you published it, security, and make sure API services are enabled. Right here, it gives you access to data stores, so you do need that. All right, so now let's get to the actual template. So it contains a lot of stuff. So this is basically all the boilerplate you need. I'm going to explain the most important stuff. So this is the profile template. This is the template every single player will have once they join, and it'll contain all the data you want. So right here, it has some default stuff. You don't need all of these. These are just examples. So cash, for example, is the number. Item is a table of all the items you want your player to have, right? And this will be saved once the player leaves, right? And login times is the amount of times logged in. You don't need this, but these are just examples. Of course, you can add more stuff. So let's say instead of as along with cash, you can also have gems. So let's say you want gems, and this is basically how you can do that. This is just the template where we saved, and then you can implement it in your own game using leaderstats, etc. Right, so now let's actually skip to this part right here, player added. This will load the profile from the data store, and instead this is the key, so you can actually use any key you want. So instead of just doing player ... this looks confusing, so we can just remove this, and then convert this to a string. So to string this will just save it as a key. So this will save it as a key with the player user ID as the key itself. So we can specify which profile belongs to which player. So you want to make sure the profile actually exists, and there's some stuff you don't really need to worry about. What you do need to worry about is this right here. This is what actually loads the items. So we're gonna set this to the tables index. You don't have to worry about this, but this is the function that actually implements this data store. So the profile is the profile of the player that's been saved from last session, and it will call this function right here. So for example, login times, you implement that and give cash. You don't actually need it. This is just like a private function. So let's actually remove this. You can give players cash. It's not going to do anything. We do need a leader stat system in order to make this work. So let's actually do that. Let's go serve script service and make a script for our leader stats. So let's do game.players.player added connect function like that. And in this brackets, we'll do player. This is the player that joined. So this all it does, it detects when the player joins, and then we're going to add leader stats. So local leader stats equals insert that new folder. This makes a new folder. Okay. Leader stats dot name equal leader stats. All right. And we parent it to the player. This will make a leader stats folder. This folder will hold all the currencies the player has. In this case, let's make cash. Local cash equal instance that new number value. Cash dot name equal cash. Cash the parent. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Got parent. Leader stats. All right. So this will make a leader stats system that we'll be able to see once we join the game. So if we join, we have the cash value right here. We have some errors, but let's not worry about this right now. And why not make another value? Let's call this gems. Or it doesn't have to be gems. It can be like wins if you want. Like that. And for data, we can actually implement this. So how we implement this is, okay, I don't know what happened here. Let's remove this too. This is weird. Why is it like that? Okay. All right. Print player has. All right. We don't have to worry about this. Let's actually remove this. So in order to actually implement this, we have the player's profile. This profile will save every time the player joins. Now, what we need to do is load the stats from this profile and also save it. How can we do this? Now, first, let's load it. So what we'll do is we'll get the cash value that we made from the leader stats. So local cash equals player. We have the access to the player. And then we can use wait for child, leader stats. And wait for child cash. This is what we made. And then we'll do cash that value profile. Now, don't forget, profile is basically this template that we saved for each player. And in this case, it's where is it? Oh, I lost. So profile, this will be inside the player, and it's also inside another table which is called data. Data, and then we can actually get the cash value. So cash. This will return obviously the cash that is stored in the profile that's been saved from last session. All right, and now we set it to the cash value, which is the leader stats. All right, so now we loaded it. How can we save? Pretty simple. It's not really saving, it's just updating the profile that the player has. So then once the player can leave and join back, it will save from when it was updated last time. So what we can do is do a change event. This will detect every time the cash value is changed. Cash dot change connect function. And then in this brackets, we can put the value. So current cash, the cash that the player currently has. And then we'll do this profile data the cash equals current cash. So now we updated the cash value inside this profile. So next time the player joins back, it will be saved to the updated current cash. All right. So right now, this is pretty much all we really need. So we can actually test this out, and we can actually add cash to our player. So this function will be called. All right. So let's actually test this out. Okay, there's an error right here. Okay, so for this one, profile service, game that services that profile service. Since we put it in this folder, let's also edit this. So this will be game.service.profile service.profile service because this is a folder and this is the module inside of it. So that's just one mistake I made. All right, so we have cash and wins. This is what we made. So now let's go and oops, right here. So on the players, we have the leader stats right here. This contains cash and wins. So let's actually update cash. Let's make this 100. So now let's go back to the client and it says we have 100 cash. All right, now let's join back. And it loads our cash from last time. All right. So now we can save the currencies, right? Cash, wins, etc. Now we also have wins, so we can also apply this. So basically, it's really just a matter of copy and pasting. So let's actually do this. Wins, 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 and wins. Just so it's more readable, like that. And let's add this so it works. So cash and wins, that's what we have. And that should be it for both of these currencies. All right. So you're basically updating and saving. All right. So if I also change the wins value, this should also update. Let's make this 10. Okay, stop. Join back. This updates our cash. All right, so now we're done that. How do we make it so we can save items, right? So remember when I was talking about the items table right here, this is a table or a list of all the items we can have, and we can list string values, so like names of items. So what we can do for this one, we can actually make a very simple shop, right? So we can make a very simple shop where people can buy stuff from it, and it goes through their inventory. We can use the default Roblox backpack for that. And what we can do, we can put it into their starter gear, and once we detect that something is added to their starter gear, we can add it to this table here, and that will be saved every time the player joins or leaves and then joins back. It will be loaded. So let's just actually insert some tools. So let's insert some tools like gravity coil, stuff that can be bought. Nope. Okay, let's insert some random stuff. So rocket launcher, rocket launcher. Let's see this one right here. Okay. I don't think I can. Do I have this? Is this locked? That's weird. All right. All right. There we go. And then let's add one more stuff just for Let's add a banner hammer. Okay. All right. So let's say these are the 3 stuff you can buy. I don't know why I can't select this. It's weird. Let's unlock this. Okay, so we can move it. So now what we can do, we can actually probably do like a part. For each part, we can just make it like a proximity prompt to buy this item. So for the band hammer, let's buy, make this green, and make it anchored. Group this with the band hammer. Remove the handle or rename the handle to this part so the player just can't like equip it just from touching it. And you can remove the actually before you do anything, we want to duplicate all of these items, copy them, and put it into replicated storage. This is where we need them, so we can duplicate them and give it to the player once they buy it. Then we're gonna have another duplicate just for display, and for the display ones, we do not want them to be picked up. These are just displays, so name the handle parts. If you keep the name as handle, the players will be able to pick them up. Okay, part, and let's remove all of this. And then you can remove all of this, you don't need that. All right, so for this model, for this part, let's add a proximity prompt. And then let's make a script right here. Okay, so let's make proximity prompt. Script.parent, so this is proximity prompt. And local model equal prox, or let's actually do tool. Tool equal prox.parent and .parent.banhammer. Right, this is the actual tool we want to buy. So now we'll get prox.triggered connect function. This will be the player that triggered the proximity prompt. And we can make it also a price for it if you want. So we can maybe like say we have a price, but we're gonna just make it straightforward. We don't really want to pay anything. Like you can actually just add a price right here. So the price equals 5. And then we can check if the player can buy it. So if player dot leaderstats that cash the value is greater than or equal to price, then do this, copy this, and then we decrement the amount of cash the player has with the price. And then we can clone this tool from replicated storage and give it to the player. All right. So tool.parent, or not tool, we're not going to clone this tool, but we're going to find the tool in replicated storage. So local clone1 equals game.replicated storage, and then tool.name. Clone. And if you want, we can add another if statement before this, just to be safe. So if game.replicated storage, find for its child, tool.name, then, or we can do if not, then we return. So if we don't find the tool inside replicated storage, we're just gonna skip this entire thing and end it right there. Otherwise, if we can find the tool, then we can clone it. We're gonna make 2 clones. We're gonna make 1 clone for the starter gear of the player, and then 1 for the backpack of the player. Starter gear basically makes a save after the player dies. Backpack is just so the player can have access to it. So I have 2 clones. Clone 1 the parent, go player dot starter gear, and then clone 2 parent player dot backpack. All right, so this is basically a very simple shop system, and you can pretty much add this to all the items you can have. So let's anchor these parts. All right, and let's test this out. And for the proximity prompt, you can actually make it so let's say buy item, and then for object test, let's say ban hammer 5 coins, like that. So let's test this shop system out. We have 100 cash, so we can pretty much buy it anyways. So let's do buy item. Says it doesn't say we can buy it. It's odd. All right. So let's roughly storage. This is not in a local script. My bad. Has to be in a server script. Okay. That was my issue. Okay. Now let's actually test it again. I don't know why I put in a local script. That was my bad. Okay, and now we have this ban hammer. It takes away 5 cash from us. All right. So now, how do you make it so it saves on the player, right? So we can add this for all. Tools. But for now, let's actually make it so it saves. That's the most important part. So for that to work, it's going to be a similar way we save the currency, but it's going to be a bit different because we're working with a list of items rather than just a number, right? So for that, first we're going to need to load. We're going to need to load the items the player saved from last session if the player has any saved items in their item list, in their inventory right here. So we're going to make a for loop. So for I item, and it's going to be item name, the name of the item, in pairs, profile, the data, the items, like that. So what this does is a for loop. It loops through all of the items in this items table. So if there's an item, right, then we'll find it in the replicate storage. It's going to be basically the same process as this. So we can also copy this. The only difference is, well, we'll just replace the item name right here, like this. And then for player, we'll do player, just spell it a bit differently, like that. So it's the same system. We clone it. We make 2 clones, one for the starter gear and one for the backpack. All right, so now this is loading. Now let's save it. So similar system. So what we're going to do is we're going to detect whenever an item is added to the starter gear, right? Now we also want to make sure that there's no duplicates. So we want to make sure if there's no item already inside the item list right here, then we can add it. If there's already an item, we don't want to do anything. We'll leave it because we don't want any duplicates. Unless you do want duplicates, then you can do that. All right. So player, that starter gear, that child added, connect function, and then in this brackets we can do the tool added. All right. So we want to make sure if table dot find and the haystack, which is a table, so profile that data dot items, and the needle, which is the tool name, tool added dot name. Then we're gonna return. We're not gonna do anything. Otherwise, we can add it to the items table. So table dot insert profile dot data dot items, and then we're gonna add the value, which is tool added dot name. All right, well, this seems good enough. Now I'm not sure. Let me see. We can also add another restriction here, and this prevents from the player from having any duplicates item in their starter gear. So you can do if player starter gear find first child item name, then instead of return we do continue, so it skips this iteration. So it's similar thing than return. All right, so we can actually try and test this out. We have the band hammer. We probably need to test it again because we just made the changes. So we'll buy the item. It goes to the inventory. Now let's stop. And let's play this again. All right. And now we have the band hammer in our inventory. All right. So now we can actually add it to the rest of our items. I don't know where didn't know where our rocket launcher went. We can make the system to the rest of our stuff. So we'll duplicate this. Gravity coil. Like that. We'll group this. In the proximity prompt, we'll just change some of the stuff. So in this case, it will be gravity coil. And let's say this is 10. Like that. The proximity prompt, we'll change a bit. Instead of band hammer, we'll do gravity coil. And then instead of 5 coins, we'll do 10 coins. Same system right here. The rocket launcher. In this case, let's actually anchor this part right here. Let's group this together. Instead of gravity coil, we'll do rocket launcher. And let's do 25 this. And then change this again. All right. So let's play this again. We have our band hammer. Let's buy this gravity coil and let's buy this rocket launcher. We have all of these. All right. So now let's stop. And then let's join back. We have all of our items in our inventory. So as you can see, this is a very, very, very simple and easy to use service, data saving service. It's like if compare this to like my old data stores tutorials using the original default Roblox data saving service, it would take probably like 10 times longer. So this is why profile service is so popular now, and it's really, really, really useful to use. And if you're using a game with, item saving, currency, if you're using a lot of like stats, this is a very good way to use data saving in your game. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I'm really just covering item saving and currency saving. Super, super simple. This is actually like 10 times better than my old tutorials, so I'm actually glad that I'm using this, to teach you guys how to actually, use the good ways to use data saving services. So thanks to Lawless, bro. He's a real G. I remember him back in the day making games like Mad Murderer, Murder Mystery. Well, not Murder Mystery. I think it was Mad Murderer and Mad Games and Mad Payment. All those OG games back in the day. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you do want more, definitely be sure to like and subscribe. Give me suggestions on what you want next in the comments below. Join our Discord server and give us suggestions. And if you want some help, also join that too. It's good. We do events as well. I know I haven't been posting a lot the past like few weeks, past month or so. But yeah, kind of ran out of ideas, but this is a good idea. Actually helps you guys be efficient and game making. Like imagine having to spend like 2 hours on a data saving service when you can actually use this, and it cuts the amount of time you use by like an hour probably. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, join our Discord server, and give me suggestions down below, and also some other ideas besides tutorials if you want. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.